Saturday night, October the 24th, All-Star Wrestling appears in Baltimore at the Baltimore Civic Center. Saturday night, October 24. We'll see the tag team combination of Tony Gurria and Rick Martel, the champions, squaring off against the challengers, Mr. Fuji, Mr. Saito. What an extraordinary tag team title matchup this shall be. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, well, our next guest is Fred Blassie. Come on out, Mr. Blassie. Let's discuss the presence on the card of the Animal George Steele. Is the Animal George Steele in a cage where many would say he justifiably belongs?
I agree.
In a cage with Tony Atlas, who's going to be so fired up by the time this date rolls around, he could eat George Steele alive.
Wishful thinking on your part. Can't you just picture these two guys in a ring, surrounded by a steel cage, which George the Animal has been in many, many times, and then his pencil-neck geek, Mr. USA Tony Atlas, across the ring, looking at George. When you just look at George in a ring like this, of this type, you want to jump out. And now you got a steel cage, nowhere to go. Nowhere to go until George turns them loose. And I guarantee you, George will turn them loose after he gets through with taking that Mr. Atlas, throwing him against that side, picking up for that side, run his face into that side. Now I'm talking about Steele. Steel cage. Name is fitting for George the Animal, Steele. Then he picks him up and drives him against that side. And then he brings him over here for the coup de go. You understand what I'm talking about? For the finishing touch. I hope you're listening, Tony Atlas, because George the Animal Steele's going to take you right here and push your face right through that steel cage. Nothing's going to be left of you. All that's going to be all over the ring is your muscles. George the Animal Steele's going to walk out. Hole! Hole!
Fred Blassie, his comments. The Animal George Steele in the 15-foot-high steel cage match with no place to run or hide as he faces in the return encounter Mr. USA Tony Atlas. In a moment, our guest will be King Kong Mosca. And everyone saw Mr. Mosca, the despicable display of your conduct not long ago with Pat Patterson. That was indeed one of the dark days of pro wrestling. But aside from that, when Pat Patterson himself gets into the ring and squares off against you, I don't think anybody would want to be in your shoes.
It's a situation I love to be in. First of all, he took valuable time interviewing nothing in stripes. The man of my stature, he should have spent that time with me. Pat Patterson, this goes back even further than the day on TV when you stuck your nose asking the referee why I'm disqualified. Well, I'm a man who walks and talks and does exactly what he wants to do. To reiterate, going back to Madison Square Gardens when you were my special referee or the special referee in a match, and you gave me a quick count and cost me the championship, I have never forgotten it. But the situation arose when I took the matters into my hand, and you did not give me proper interview time interviewing a man in stripes. So, Patterson, your little sidekick at the table, I'm going to make sure that he's not going to be at that table no longer in the WWF. This is not going to be a wrestling match. It's going to be an all-out war. Because I said I'm a champion without a belt, and I'm going to make sure that Patterson respects me.
King Kong Mosca and his comments. Our next guest, perhaps the newly crowned tag team champions if Lou Albano has his way, here with us, Mr. Fuji, Mr. Saito.
We don't say perhaps. We say definite champion, Japanese champion, imperial race, super Mr. Saito, Mr. Fuji, #1 champion in the world today. They can beat, humiliate, and humble Tony Gurria and who's ever champion? I forget his name. French-Canadian boy by the name of Rick Martel. All right? Now, my champion ready.
We're out of time.
Are we out of time? Champion ready.
We'll be